What are you looking at? I don't know. The pinnacle of beauty, because being yourself is being beautiful. Fat activists are dying. Health at every size, proven wrong again. Michelle McDaniel. Let's see, shall we?
The fat acceptance movement, also known as fat pride, fat empowerment, and fat activism, is a
That's so dumb. Just putting pride and activism, all that, those jargon words after the word fat, as if it's something to be proud of.
social movement which seeks to eliminate the social stigma of fatness from social attitudes by pointing out the social
Well, yeah, smoking pride. Where's the smoking pride at?
obstacles which are faced by fat people to the general public. While many people in this group have determined and spread through social media that obesity is not as bad as we have always thought, or that science has proven.
I think what the real problem is it's these people have an issue with themselves, and this is how they project themselves. Is a kind of I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay. Like if they say it loud enough and they put it out there enough, then perhaps they can get other people to believe it because they've somehow managed to convince themselves. That's the impression I get. You know, it's like I'm not listening. La 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 la. I don't want to know.
Or that science has proven. Many have embraced the word fat and deemed the word obese to now be a slur. Many won't.
No. Oh yeah. You say many, but how many? 4 people on Twitter? I don't think it's a slur. I've never heard of that before.
Even say the word in their homes.
Said to me, well, have you eaten? And I said, yeah, I had some pizza earlier. And they said, you need to eat something like a bit more healthy. Now, there are a few words that I don't allow when somebody comes into my house, and healthy. Is one of them.
In fact,
Why would you have a problem with the word healthy? It's a good word. It's something we should all aspire to.
the NAAFA, the National Association to Advance Fat Acceptance, which was started by a white man who actually had a fetish for oversized women and started the group to bring acceptance
Oh yeah, you cheeky thing.
to him and his people, in hopes less people would make fun of him for his choice of women. Well, in 2022, it's ran by women.
It goes both ways though. Have you ever seen the Jerry Springer show? There's like these skinny guys, they can't be more than like 120 pounds, and they're just obsessed with this like 400-pound woman. But it also goes the other way. There's women who are into like really fat men. But I think if I was to guess, and I don't know, I would assume more skinny guys are into fat women than more skinny women are into fat men.
Fat women. Let me just read a little bit of their philosophy. The NAAFA have contested society's stubborn generalization that associates fatness with disease and poor health outcomes, and push back against the assumption that fat people have little regard for themselves or their own well-being. They argue that thinking about obesity as a disease or medical risk, such as having severe effects from COVID-19, contributes to the stigma because it positions larger bodies as drains on an already taxed healthcare system. To sum that up, they don't like that the numbers show, factual numbers by the way, show that being obese causes taxpayers more money.
Hello, thank
They
you.
also do not like that fatness or obesity is connected to disease and poor health because it
Because that's the truth. And you can't handle the truth.
makes them feel bad. I shall read on. The NAAFA mobilizes the term, in quotes, fat, in its fight against weight discrimination and fat phobia in all aspects of life, including in employment, healthcare, and education. Similarly, as social scientists, we use the term fat rather than the deeply problematic medical term obesity, which causes harm to people under the guise of benign objectivity. These groups, and what I have shown you on this channel many times of the fat activists on
His glasses look like something you might get out of a Christmas cracker.
TikTok, saying the word obese causes harm, but interestingly enough, they never talk about the harm that obesity causes. I mean, how could they? Many of them do not even believe in science when it proves obesity comes with risks. Virgie's
Well, of course. Because it's about them at the end of the day. It's about them and their denial of the truth. And if someone presents the truth to them, they just find a way to block it in their brain and project it as if it's okay.
Tovar, who I'm making a video of later, has said if science does not satisfy over 60% of the population who are obese, then we should just boot it out the window. This was said in her interview with Ulta Beauty, titled The Beauty of Fatness. We now have doctors that are telling us that obesity is just a myth and has absolutely no health risks.
Who on earth could call themselves a doctor if they do that? I'm very much a pro-science guy. I believe in facts and reality. If anyone tries to distort those, then you have a hard time convincing me, because facts are facts, reality is reality. You can try to get away from it, but that's called fantasy, and that's not reality.
We have doctors who write books titled Health at every size, where they say obesity can be completely healthy. Bloggers saying there is no such thing as healthy food, everything's created equal, and we should never let these white males stop us from living our lives with their racial BMI.
Wait, racial BMI? Was she about to say BMI or something?
My chart.
BMI chart. Racial BMI chart. Well, it's just all founded in science, though. It's the best that we currently have at this moment. That's the whole point of science. It's always the best that we currently have until another theory is sort of proposed and then cross-checked, peer-reviewed, and proven to be more successful and more accurate than the previous used scientific method. That's how you progress.
Well, do you know what is starting to bring some of these fat activists down? No, it's not the use of the word obesity, it's heart attacks and heart complications. Yes, and many of these fat activists are staying silent, looking the other way and continuing to perpetuate this disgusting movement started by men that wanted to get their hard. That obesity is perfectly healthy. And honestly, it pisses me off. I will be focusing on 2 women.
See, that stuff to me just screams, I need help. I would just say, like, I'm a sort of medium guy, like, just in terms of, like, health-wise, nothing spectacular, just average. I've never felt the need to sort of dance in front of a camera or something to prove that I'm feeling great or I am who I am. It's this sort of weird psychological thing that I mentioned earlier in the video, where these people are really trying to convince themselves and you that they're fine by doing essentially what is, I would think, honestly, as a natural reaction, looks kind of grotesque. But yeah.
Pisses me off. I will be focusing on 2 women that were part of this movement of we should just accept obesity. 2 women that I feel glorified it, at least one glorified it and changed. And 2.
At least she looks more natural. I like this one more. This one looks like AI. Like, oh God, it's a long time ago when I was in school, but there was this girl who used to wear so much makeup you could actually sort of see the makeup on top of the makeup. Have you ever noticed that with girls before? Where there's like, it's like a cake. There's like a layer of cake, like on the face. It's not even like a human face anymore. It's just really freaky. I don't find that anywhere near attractive.
2 women who are now sadly no longer with us. 2 women that express their opinions in different ways, but I have different opinions on each one. Let's start. If you ever go down the weird lane of fat talk on TikTok, you will find there are many very young fat talkers who are dancing around expressing how obesity has not hindered their life at all. And they—
Do you know why that is? It's because you're young. Have you ever noticed when you're young, you can fall off things? You can run around, and you're still quite capable. The next day, you can drink a lot, and you'll be quite capable the next day. When I was young, I used to video game a lot of the time. I would get approximately about 4 to 5 hours sleep sometimes, most nights, and then go to work straight after waking up. And I felt fine. And I'd get home from work, and I'd go straight back to gaming. Doesn't work that way so much when you get older. And they haven't found that out yet. So they're only sprouting what it is that they know, which in all fairness is all that they know. But if they actually had any experience in life, they'd realize that the things that they're trying to do here might be a little bit more tricky when they get in their 30s, their 40s, their 50s.
They can do anything a skinny girl can do.
If you're a fat person who is not trying to lose weight, I love you. Keep it up.
And
What the
why is
hell?
that? Because the older ones are either hurting and can't get up or dead. Because as you age and stay obese, the issues you will have come on pretty
Oh my
hard and
gosh.
thick. I want to start with
Oh, I think I saw this. Was this a documentary or something? Is she the one who kept shouting at her husband because she couldn't lie in the bed properly or something? Like, she's not like just necessarily what you would say an ugly person on the outside. She was like even uglier on the inside. Like, she was just a nasty, vile woman.
the oldest fat activist who sadly left this earth at the age of 42, Kat Pazet.
Told about obesity, we're in the middle of an epidemic, extra body weight causes, heart problems, diabetes. What do you say to that?
I think it does definitely fly in the face of what most of us tend to believe and what our common sense maybe even tells us. But I think that the science isn't actually as clear-cut as we like to believe.
As you'd like to believe. You found out that the science is real. In the worst way possible. She's not here anymore. But it's that whole la 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 la, it doesn't count. Like, it's okay to be comfortable being fat. It's you. It's your body. You do what the fuck you want with it. It's your life. I have no right to tell you what to do. If you want to eat pie and be fat and live your life to 40 or whatever it is that you go, maybe you make it to 60, 70. You do exactly what you want to do. It's your life. But don't try to tell others that it's fine, because that's where you step over the mark.
And there's not really quite a consensus yet about the real relationship between weight and health.
Fat studies scholar at Massey University in Palmerston North. Her research and activism attracted controversy and, in these people's opinions, bullying from people who would
That necklace. I'm sure I had a car air freshener that looked like that.
constantly say, stop spreading the message that obesity is a positive condition, but she wouldn't listen. Steven Crowder, a political commentator mostly known as the Change My Mind guy, where he sets up
It's
a
true.
booth and asks people to change his mind about controversial topics, actually infiltrated a fat studies conference at Massey University. His experiment was to see if these people are so accepting to everything stupid. He decided to write a paper, say a few trigger words, and hopefully be accepted in this community.
Oh, I remember
so he
this.
dressed up in a
That's Steven Crowder. That's his sister. That's his sister, actually. Yes, I remember watching this. Ooh. He basically imitated being a fat activist and that it's fine to be fat and all this kind of stuff, and got accepted.
fat suit, slapped on a wig, and wrote a bogus paper to hopefully be accepted into the Fat Studies Conference, based on a poorly written, full of trigger words.
To be fair, this day and age, that looks pretty realistic. You know?
Paper, and of course, he had to have the Pikachu cup and the Trump/Prince must go ornaments in the back to really sell to them and gain their acceptance. And he did. They absolutely loved his video essay.
And I knew that largely because of my fat, I was guaranteed at least a certain amount of space.
That Christmas
You
jumper.
may believe, wrongly as many people do, that fat is a threat to your life. But I would argue that in many ways, it may save your life. I used to feel guilty about eating certain foods
Hey.
or drinking certain soft drinks. But I don't. I don't anymore. Every scoop of Ben & Jerry's, or whatever your preferred food may be, I would like to see it restructured, and it should be seen as an act of resistance, not only against homophobia, but against fat phobia.
And
That right there is nailed. It's like, if you just want to eat food, then you go and eat food. You enjoy yourself. But don't try to make out as if you're eating food for some particular cause or this is like a good thing. It's just weird sort of projection that can sort of deflect from the reality that you're kind of trying to avoid.
guess whose Fat Studies Conference this was? That's right, Kat Pazet, the woman who would rather have people feel beautiful than know the realities of obesity. A woman who dedicated her whole career to keep people under the impression that obesity is a good thing. A few weeks later, after Crowder's show aired, Dr. Pazet passed away. They did not release the cause of death, but they said
Unjust and unethical fatness being called a risk factor for coronavirus. Oh, shit, yeah. It's during that time period, was it? So you could get shot 8 times, but if you had coronavirus, your death would be counted as a coronavirus death. That's how they did a lot of the figures.
Medical conditions, which many are theorizing that it was an obese-related issue, but they don't want the exact cause getting out because of the work that she did, and many people on the internet can be ruthless. And if it was someone else who was just minding their own business and being fat who passed away, I would understand that. And you might be thinking that this is a very insensitive video, but I can't feel sorry for someone who promoted obesity but then dies at a pretty young age from it.
One thing
called
that's really
irony.
in vogue in the literature right now is we see a lot of articles about what they call the obesity paradox. And this is research that's finding that
Yeah, no, you shouldn't feel sorry. Like, in a way, she's a scammer. You know, like, she's actively spreading misinformation and making other people's lives worse through trying to promote that this is actually a good, healthy lifestyle, which, in all honesty, she knows but doesn't want to accept.
obese people and even morbidly obese people have just as good of health or sometimes even better health than people who are in the healthy weight ranges.
I do feel sorry for the people who loved her because she seemed to be loved by many. It's too bad that she decided to be so stubborn when it comes to obesity and protecting her feelings that she died.
Why do you think she was so stubborn when it came to obesity? It's the same sort of thing. Like, why does someone who suffers from, say, for example, cerebral palsy, like a famous actor or whatnot, they then go on to sort of create a charity that is based around funding curing that disease, that issue. They don't create a charity that's based off like helping out homeless people or people who have Vietnam veteran war heroes that have like lost ligaments and such. No, it's because it's something that affects them. So that's why she's so defensive on this.
From the condition that she said was so beautiful and harmless. Allegedly, of course. I also want to remind anyone that is saying, well, she's passed away, we shouldn't talk about her. I disagree. We should. Because this is the end result of thinking you are untouchable. That science is not real because it hurts your feelings. And just because you feel great at 20 and you're 300 pounds doesn't mean it will stay that way. So with that being said, rest in peace, Dr. Pause.
No one's saying it isn't sad that she's passed away. But you can't go and put yourself out there, say all those things, and then be immune to any response. That's ridiculous.
Second woman I wanted to talk about that was all things body positive and fat positive is Jamie Lopez. Jamie Lopez weighed around 800.
Now that is the cake. Like, I guess pun intended, but wasn't really. But now that I think about it, I guess we can intend that.
140 pounds. She was a total glamour chick. Nails, hips, heels, hair, honey. Loved femininity. Loved getting her nails done. Well, one day she went into a nail salon and broke the chair. She was humiliated and they told her, sorry, we can't do your nails here. You can't come back when you're this size.
Michael J. Fox is a good example of he created a foundation for research for Parkinson's disease. Yeah, it's that kind of thing. Wow, that's great that he's done that. But would he have done that if he didn't have Parkinson's disease? I very much doubt it. But I think he's a legend anyway, Michael J. Fox. So I've got no beef against him whatsoever. But it's the point I'm getting across is this is something that is rooted with you, and therefore it's something that you're promoting. It's not a surprise, is it? At the end of the day, it's not like he went and did something amazingly different.
Felt horrible about this and started her own nail salon for morbidly obese women who wanted a safe place to get their nails done where they won't break chairs. Her career took off.
What? That is the issue. This is an issue with you, and now you've created an entire, say, infrastructure based around this one individual issue that you had because you've eaten too much cake. So now everyone else has to suffer, essentially. You get this a bit with like the airports, right? Don't they? The fat passengers are trying to get larger chairs in airplanes because it's discriminatory against them for being fat. It's that kind of thing. Like, this is something you've done to yourself in a way. We all have to live with this. No one wants to fucking sit in those chairs. I'm not a particularly big person. I'm like medium or skinny or whatever you would call me. And when I went to the BlizzCon, I was in economy class, and holy fuck, those chairs are tiny. I couldn't believe it. I knew it's economy class, so you know what you're going to get. But then when you get there, you're like this. Like everything is squished in. It's not like a joke. So I get that they're sort of like, oh, these chairs are too small. Yeah, they are fucking too. They're too small for anyone. So the best thing you can do is get yourself as healthy as possible for that, so they're more comfortable. If you're like 7 foot tall or something, that's much harder because that's not something that you've done to yourself. That's something that's natural. Whereas being fat or obese, that's something you've done to yourself.
Even scored a show on Super Size Salon on WTii.
Are you ready to go? And why do you look like you about to just throw up everywhere?
Because I'm terrified, Shannon. I haven't left the house in 2 years.
She got an SJW haircut.
I learned to walk again.
I actually talked about Jamie and her salon a long time ago on this channel, and Jamie only saw the thumbnail and was absolutely pissed at me. It was a whole thing. I haven't told you guys this, but she recently apologized to me over Instagram and told me about her shows.
There's some truth to that actually, Marla EU. It says, nah, Witty, if we all get healthier and slimmer, they will make the chair space smaller. You're not necessarily wrong either. Because, you know, corporations' money. That's another thing that we have to deal with in society. Just getting slimmer and thinner doesn't necessarily mean that solves the problem either. But it certainly does solve the problem of dying from a heart attack earlier, at least, or having less chance of doing it.
Well, and just yesterday, I added her new show to shows I wanted to watch and talk about with you on my channel. So when I logged onto Instagram to see Jamie Lopez dead at 37, it crushed me. This one is so different for me than the Cat Jose and really left me heartbroken over a woman I really didn't even know, but fell for, honestly. Though me and Jamie had that internet battle, I personally...
Supersized Salon, Jamie Lopez dead. Last intense video and death cause shocking. It's got that YouTube red arrow. It's just missing the red circle.
I think she was a very nice person. I know that she was probably a bit insecure, and can you blame her? She obviously gets constantly bullied over the internet, but Jamie really turned her life around. She lost over 400 pounds, which was what my video was going to be on.
But don't think that I've...
Wait, no. She didn't say she lost over 400 pounds? That's not even possible. You'd have to be like 500 pounds minimum to lose 400 pounds and still be like alive.
400 pounds, which was what my video was going to be on.
But don't think that I've just been sitting around doing nothing, okay? Because that's definitely not the case. I've had some critical events happen in my life, you guys, that made me want to embark on this journey. And in less than a year, I completely turned my life around. And I'm really proud of myself.
She lost almost a whole Tammy Slayton, and I was...
What are you talking about? How fucking big was she if she lost 400 pounds? I'm like 140 pounds. I don't understand how this is possible. This doesn't make sense. Is this like 400 pounds over a period of time? Like she gained, say for example, she was like 500 pounds. She loses 200 pounds and she gains another 100 pounds in the next couple of months. Then she loses another 100 pounds. She just spent the whole year like going up and down. I don't know.
I was extremely proud of her when I saw that and had a huge amount of respect for her to just message me and apologize. She put in so much hard work, and I was so happy to see that she was getting a handle on this horrible condition called obesity, morbid obesity for her. I would have never guessed that she would be the one that passed away, and Tammy Slayton is still going strong. I am in literal shock about this, but I really shouldn't be. She was morbidly obese for years. She couldn't even stand for the opening of her salon, and it really just angers me that there's people...
I guess the angle I'm coming at really is you can't say you've lost 400 pounds if you just gained it back again. Like she didn't look any different.
Out here manipulating minds of people who have an obvious food addiction to not worry about being obese and how beautiful it is. Telling people that obesity doesn't have any detrimental effects and there's such thing as health at every size. But the word obese does. Go on everyone, keep eating. I was just thinking to myself also that maybe, just maybe if Jamie and others weren't getting positive reinforcement for their horrible behaviors toward food, she could have lost weight maybe sooner. Not to mention the men that help feed this mentality that obesity
You know what I would like to see more of? Is they're having a good time. They're moving around. You should be based around that. It's like, how about promote healthiness? If you're bigger, but you want to be a little bit healthier, have a group for bigger people, individuals. If they see more like themselves, then they'll be more encouraged to sort of get behind one another and help each other lose that weight and make that progress. That's good. But if they try to make out as if this is a party because being fat is great, then that's where it's wrong.
Food, she could have lost weight maybe sooner. Not to mention the men that help feed this mentality that obesity is beautiful and the bigger the better. That's right, she used to hang out with Tammy Slayton's ex-boyfriend, the BB King, whose slogan is the bigger the better. I'm not making excuses for her. Everyone has a choice to step away. But the movement of love yourself the way you are, obesity is nothing to be scared of, and men who glorify it for their own benefit definitely doesn't help someone who's addicted to food and overeating or binging. It just saddens me that she actually was doing the work and did so much work, but it wasn't enough. Sources close to Lopez tell us she'd been hospitalized in Las Vegas and then died over the weekend as a result of heart complications. I really do mean rest in peace, Jamie, and I feel for her family. She really seemed like a good person, and I'm so upset that I didn't make that video showing her hard work when she was still alive. I truly hope that more people in this community
I think this is her PR manager or something.
see that obesity is nothing to be happy about. It is not an empowering thing to eat yourself to death. So please take care of your health, and I will see all of you guys next time.
It's a pretty good video overall. I'd say there's quite a few biases, particularly a lot of mentions of like men and white men somehow being responsible here. Now, that's probably some truths there, but at the end of the day, you're responsible for yourself, right? So that's where the real blame lies. But yes, it's good to be healthy. Like, it shouldn't be something that sort of gets shunned because you can't be healthy, but you need other people that are also not healthy so you don't feel so bad about yourself. Do you see what I mean? That's kind of how it comes across to me. A lot of these people that sort of do that fat dance in front of the camera, stuff like that, they're looking for other people like themselves so they can reinforce their own belief that what they're doing is okay, even if they know it's not. And they're trying to convince and get an army that can be behind them so they feel more secure in their decision to essentially go down an unhealthy path and quite likely die young. Now, is what it is. It's not a good idea to do that. You are entitled to do what you want to do. Like I say, it's your body, you do what you do. But if you're doing it in a way that can harm and maliciously hurt other people, which it will do, then you've crossed past the line where you can't have any sympathy given to you as well at the same time.